Around 5 months ago, Hurricane Ian made landfall in southwest Florida. Along with it came $113 billion in damages. This lot of flood cars is just a minute fraction of those numbers, as most of the cars that were totaled by Ian were sold shortly after. What's left here are the stragglers, including this rare Corvette ZR1. I bought it for a quarter of its current day retail price, and it came with no keys, no odometer reading, no oil on the dipstick, and no real hope of it ever being a good working car again. When we pulled its drain plug, 2 gallons of salt water rushed out before we saw any oil. Remember, this salt water has been in this engine for several months at this point, and that's just in the engine. Today we'll find out what's in the transmission and the differential, basically determining the fate of our $8,000 ZR1 gamble.
Oh man.
While this vet might seem like a lost cause at this point, there was a bit of good news here, and that's that it seems like little or maybe even no water made its way into the interior, judging by the condition of its upholstery and smell. It seems completely fine in here. And since the car is old and American, the parts store has an abundance of stuff we can use to get this one right again, like a new ignition barrel with keys that set us back only $30. I installed this along with a fresh battery, and the dash lit right up, and with it we got a pleasant surprise. What are you guys guessing? We got 250,000 miles, or we got 25,000 miles, or we got 2,500 miles. Oh, look at that. Our hazards are on because we pulled the hazard light switch out of the column here. Here we go. Less than 50,000 miles on the clock. For a 1991, that's pretty darn sweet. It looks like we've got a 50-50 shot here, so let's keep a positive mindset and get some good help on board to get this thing working. For this, I flew in the best Pro-Am Ferrari tech in the entire world, Rada Rosa. Now, while this might not make a lot of sense since we're working on a Corvette, it was a good excuse to get him to bring me some hard-to-track-down parts for another one of my projects from over 4,000 miles away. Scott. Hey. Wow, you're telling me you brought these from all the way across the pond?
You can now push them yourself.
So you know there's an easier way.
Yeah.
Stamps.com.
Yeah.
Whether you're sending a box or a bumper, you can get it done easy and efficiently with Stamps.com. Just type your shipment details in and it will tell you the cheapest and fastest shipping options available. In my experience, it's way cheaper than going to the post office since Stamps.com offers the industry best deals with discounts of up to 84% off postage at UPS and USPS. And for the small business owners out there, Stamps.com connects with all the major shopping cart and marketplace platforms to provide a seamless solution for all your shipping needs. Now, besides just saving a bunch of money by buying your postage through Stamps.com, you're going to save a ton of time because you will never ever wait in line at the post office ever again. To get started, all you have to do is visit Stamps.com/Samcrac or hit that link in the description box. When you do, you're going to get a 4-week trial plus some free postage to get you started and a free digital scale with no long-term commitments or contracts. Again, that special deal is available at Stamps.com/Samcrac. Get your business started off on the right foot this year with Stamps.com. What I'm most anxious to see right now is what's in that transmission. We're hoping straight gear oil comes out. Most transmissions have vent tubes towards the top. That would be an easy access area for salt water, depending on how high it got. We know what we're dealing with when it comes to the engine. Well, at least a little bit. We'll pull that oil pan off in a second. But right now, let's go ahead, pull this drain plug, and cross our fingers that what comes out is straight gear oil. Come on.
What's that? Drip, drip, drip. Water.
Water. Oh, no. Oh, darn it all. Darn it. Oh, look.
Oh, that's bad, dude.
We're taking some just general gear oil that I have lying around, and we're putting it back in the transmission. A big thing with transmission fluids and gear oils is that they're anti-corrosive, and that is the exact opposite of what salt water is. So basically I want to surround everything that was previously surrounded with the water, kind of just again get it in there, so when we fire it up for the first time we warm it up and we dump it again. We're going to do this again with whatever cheap stuff we have lying around, and then at the end we'll fill it with the appropriate gear oil. And it's starting to seep out right about now, I think. With gear oil in the transmission, we come back to the diff. The only way to get this diff completely empty of fluid is to literally remove the entire assembly. That little plug right there is not just a fill hole, it's also a drain hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna crack it open. We'll use our pump to siphon the remaining fluid out, inspect it. If by some stroke of luck it is just gear oil, we'll take it out, we'll refill it with gear oil, but if not, all of the stuff in the rear is coming loose and we are going to have to take it apart. Where did you come from?
I'm just a courier.
There you go. Here it comes. What's that look like? Looks milky. Now that we know that there was water in the gearbox, the diff, and of course the engine, all of our money in this car is really in this engine. I think I've seen them around $10,000. So we're gonna wanna get that oil pan off and inspect the bottom end here. The oil pan's gotta come off anyway because there is a serious oil leak going on. Up above it looks good otherwise. But before we pull the pan, we've gotta take the diesel fuel that we put in there to clean everything out. So I'm gonna try and just do this gently and slowly, and hopefully it doesn't make a mess like usual. All right, there we go. That's a good steady stream. Let's do that for a little bit. There's a lot of diesel in here. There's probably anywhere between 4 and 5 gallons worth. This is a 5-gallon bucket I have here.
How's it looking? Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's just dirty diesel. Yeah. Dude, oh no, this is gonna be a disaster.
Have you got another bucket?
Not around here, but this should be. I calculated it out before I did it.
Did you eat your greens last night, yeah? How are those muscles?
It's getting real heavy. Oh.
You calculated it with the water or without the water?
No, there was no water. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, come on, baby. Please slow down. Oh, no. I'm pretty sure I calculate, but I'm pushing up on the bottom. Go get a 5-gallon bucket in the thing, run. Oh,
dude, hold on, I'm going to have to guessed it right.
I did calculate it right. Thank you to Scott who ran and got the 5-gallon bucket, but look, we didn't have to use it, at least not yet. I told you it was about that much is what I...
Oh, it's looking a bit sketchy.
So I was reading on the ZR1 forums that a lot of people have oil pan leaks. And it's not necessarily because the gasket goes bad. It's because the bolts get loose. And it's really crazy, but these bolts feel like relatively loose. The one specifically in the middle of the pan. Now, obviously on the ZR1 forums, there are threads dating back to, decades ago. So this oil pan gasket, figuring that the car only has under 50,000 miles, could be the original, and we definitely want to swap it out. But again, the real reason we are taking the oil pan out of this car is so we can get a good look at the bottom end of the motor, and we can make sure there's no heavy corrosion buildup or anything when we try to start it up.
Thank you. Okay, how are we looking?
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah, that definitely needed to come off. Ooh, gross stuff in there.
Okay, let's have a look up here.
Up in the engine, well, there's nothing really out of the ordinary. Maybe it's all the diesel we had soaking inside for over a week, or maybe it's that the water lived in just the lower part of the pan, but everything looks awesome with no major corrosion buildup anywhere. And if you missed our first video, we scoped each cylinder and everything appeared in great shape there as well.
Here. Okay, this is going to be a good one. Ready?
Go. There we go. So we're doing all of that with a wrench, an open-ended wrench. You can see there's no room to get to that crank bolt through this cheese grater and then the power steering rack, but it feels smooth. It's definitely not locked up. And I mean, it even looks really clean considering salt water was in it for months.
So far, everything is really looking perfect, and I'm excited to fire this car over. My next plan was to install a fresh oil pan gasket and fill with oil so we can get things rolling. I ordered a new pan gasket along with a slew of other maintenance parts specifically for a 91 Corvette with the ZR1 engine, and the pan gasket that turned up was a generic one for the basic C4, which has a totally different engine and a totally different gasket. Now, I called the Chevy dealer because I wanted one of these as soon as possible, but it turns out that the ZR1 specific gasket is discontinued. The only way to get one of these is to buy an aftermarket one from a Corvette specialty shop for over $100. So I placed an order for the gasket and now we wait. But in the meantime, we can pull our differential to inspect how it made out after being waterlogged. Speaking of waterlogged, here's what came out when we started to crack our exhaust system hardware.
Oh, yeah. We did say we can see these little drips coming out of here for the last couple of days.
It's raining.
It's gonna be.
Definitely got to be water in there, Sam. That's quite a lot of water as well.
Yeah.
It's quite satisfying.
Yellow rusted, that's rusted water.
All right, this part is super important. You gotta watch closely. This is how you don't remove a leaf spring. Oh, this is a 30-something-year-old leaf spring. It's had a lot of tension. If it was a fresh one, we would have been dead. Yeah. There's that. There it is. All right.
Good.
We knew where to place our head on that one, right? We are so close to getting this out. We've just been at it for several hours. There is a ton of little suspension pieces and whatnot to get out of place. We've literally got two big bolts holding the differential arms in. They call those the bat wings, actually. And then we've got these two really large bolts holding it in to the drive shaft. We should be able to lift this thing out. To show you how tedious this job gets right at the end, look. We have to take out these two bolts here.
The tedious part is working with you.
You can see how long they are, and you got to get up there. I don't even know.
It's right up there.
So we got a crow's foot. We might need a longer bar.
Gap. Well,
We got to hold. There's nuts on the top of this. Can we go through here? Look through here.
Through here, maybe.
And then we can get an impact on there and just take it off. How is it working on an American car?
Well, to be fair, it's nicer than working on a European Ferrari.
I'm turning up the speed.
Okay.
Whoa, look how long that guy is right there. I mean... All right, there we go. So it's pushing up on it, so we're good there. And now, is it just the two bolts? All right, you want to commentate it, because it sounds better in English by commentating it.
Okay.
What am I doing currently?
What are you doing currently?
I think we're taking out the last
This
one.
is the last bolt, really.
This
is our last words before we get crushed.
Would you be surprised if we found one more bolt holding this in?
No, I think we're all right. I think we're good. Sam, you idiot.
Is there?
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, right here. Come this side. You know we just said about...
What did I just tell you? Yeah. Would you be surprised if we found one more bolt? All right, one more bolt, and then we're taking this
two.
out. We'll put it
There's
back
one
in.
my side, one your side.
No, is there? I think I just see... Oh, there is two. Come forward a little bit, or you may come forward now. I can come
Right,
forward.
hold it now.
Okay.
Let that stabilize.
Yep.
Okay, ready? I've got this.
Okay, it is heavy, but it's not terrible, all right? All right, we're good.
Right, I'm gonna hold that. You lift that off, yeah?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's way less.
A little sludge in the bottom.
On the cover for the differential, you can see this little plastic fitting here. That's where our vent is. That goes to the tube right there, and that's what would have allowed water to get into our differential. I think this is way better than anyone would have anticipated, and I'm surprised at how much of the fluid was actually extracted by our pump. This probably would have been fine, but it was obviously leaking really heavily. There's gear oil that's dried up all around that area on the actual half shafts themselves and all around. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up. We'll clean up all the gasket material around here. I don't see any reason why we can't reuse this, and we can only hope our gearbox looks very similar on the inside. So let's go ahead and clean this up, reseal it. We can get it back in the car. And once we get our pan gasket, we'll be set to try and run this car.
This is all starting to shape up really well. Initially, after seeing the amount of water that came out of the engine, I thought we were going to be stuck. But it seems that the residual oil left over, whether in the engine or in the differential, created an environment that made it difficult for the salt water to corrode any of the metal components. Let me know your thoughts in the comments whether or not the gearbox will survive after flushing it with some gear oil a few times over or not. Now, all this, combined with the fact that our electronics inside seem to be unharmed, will hopefully lead to a running and driving ZR1 with a bunch of new service items to boot. Right now we need to let the sealer on the differential cure. We'll torque it all up, clean it off, and put it back in the car. The second the pan gasket gets in, I'll be ready to fill it with oil and give it its first run. If you're just as excited as I am for a super budget C4 Corvette ZR1, be sure to hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get an update when the next video is live. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today, and I'll catch you very soon.